Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Vicky sent me an article that caught my attention because it involves dogs and scams. Two things I'm very interested in. So here's a story out of the Beacon Journal written by Alan Ashworth with the headline, "With Scammers, Puppy Love is a Dangerous Game." And think about this. Scams are always evolving. We know that a lot of stuff on the internet can't be believed. And so the idea that scammers will figure out any way they can to rip people off, well, people like dogs. So somewhere along the line, someone's going to combine the two things the same way they combined peanut butter and chocolate. So Taylor Grassi was looking for a puppy. The North Canton resident, and that's Ohio, is one of hundreds of dog lovers who's scammed every year by sophisticated websites that advertise puppies for sale. And as someone who's had a couple dogs in his life, I can tell you right now that shopping for dogs on the internet is not the best thing to be doing, unless that's simply how you start the search, but you end it by actually visiting the people who have the puppy for sale, okay? The idea that you can go on the internet and conduct the entire transaction online and have the dog appear on your porch like dog Vanna or something, that's not going to happen, okay? So Grassie's experience started late last summer. Her boyfriend had found a link that offered French bulldog puppies for about half what they often sell for. That's a flag number one. Okay, I'd say flag number one is that you're looking for puppies on the internet, but let's assume that we're going to be generous here and say, okay, Steve, let's assume you can do that somehow. Fine. Whenever somebody's selling something for a price below market value, that's a warning flag, okay? So Grassy said we clicked on the link and examined the web page. It was put together wonderfully. Internet web pages aren't that difficult to put together. Okay, so that shouldn't be any kind of thing that makes you feel better. Grassy, who lived in Coventry Township at the time, said the Texas-based site pulled all the right strings. So they're working on the assumption that the site is based in Texas. I don't know why you'd believe that to be true. You can put up a website and say anything. So she said they had a heartfelt story about why they started the business. They had pictures of people with their dogs. Again, photographs on the internet, you can find them. It's not even a dime a dozen. It's less than a dime a dozen because you can get photographs off the internet and pull them, and people do it all the time. They just grab photographs off websites and look, here's this, you know. So she was hooked, and she said she's always been obsessed with French bulldogs. I swore I would always have one. She wasn't rich. They were asking for $900, but French bulldogs often go for $1,000 to $2,000. Now, she admits it seemed too good to be true. After weighing the options, I was like, I feel I can afford this, said Grassy. We sent them an email that we were interested. So the scammer who's got the bait in the water suddenly has a nibble. That connection started a process that included emails, photos of her puppy, and a home address. The company used every trick in the book to exude legitimacy, and they convinced Grassy. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the writer of this story is getting at by saying that they used every trick in the book, because so far these all sound like tricks. A flashy website, photographs of who knows who with who knows what dog. Grassy said, we had about 10 emails back and forth. They gave me 3 options on how to pay, one of which was Google Pay. So again, I'm surprised I didn't say Amazon gift cards. The idea that you'd be transferring money through some untraceable manner, again, should also be a warning flag. After 10 or so emails back and forth, she came to an agreement with the company. She used Google Pay and verified it for the seller. She was told her puppy would arrive by plane on a Friday. Is the puppy going to fly the plane itself, or is the puppy going to be flying over on a private jet? The company said it had a special deal with an airline that allowed them to ship puppies by plane. Sorry. Grassy said on Wednesday we went out and got all the puppy stuff. She and her boyfriend were excited and eager for Friday, but by noon that day she was worried. She tried to call the company, but there's no option to leave a voicemail. In other words, the phone just rang and rang and rang. It was a weird recording, though. I guess apparently it did not just ring. Apparently there was a recording, but then her heart started to sink. Further efforts to retrieve her payment were unsuccessful. On October 4th, she filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau's scam tracker. In it, she described her experience with a Texas scammer. And she keeps saying Texas as if that's real. It was an internet scammer. That money is on another continent. It's not in Texas. Stop saying that. They gave me a name and address and everything she wrote in the complaint, told me I could come to their house, even sent me a contract assuring the puppy's healthy. And of course, that's part of the scam. They say, look, we're in Texas, you're in Ohio. You want the puppy, you can come pick it up, or we can ship it to you by air freight. Dog will fly first class on Virgin. And they know that no one's going to say, oh, we're going to drive to Texas to pick up our puppy. So, by the way, if you were in Texas, when you contacted them, they say, oh, we're in Ohio. That's how that works. The loss was more than a hit to her pocketbook. She said she was depressed for quite some time. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm happy these people are ripped off. I'm just saying that they ignored obvious warning signs. She's not alone, said Christy Page, president and CEO of the Akron Better Business Bureau. This is a very common scam throughout the country, Page said. A lot of times they're from overseas. Like I said, it's like whack-a-mole. You get one shut down and another pops up. So just because there's a website that looks pretty doesn't mean there's anybody behind it except for some scammer in another country. If it says it's in Texas, I assure you it's not. Okay? It's that's the scam. And the fact that they found someone who speaks decent English to talk to you and say, yeah, we've got these puppies right here, meaningless. And the fact that they got photographs of puppies that they yanked off the internet, again, does not mean they actually have puppies to sell. Page said that up to 80% of sponsored ads about pets on the internet may be fake. The Bureau's scam tracker has more than 900 reports from individuals such as Grassy who thought they'd found their dream dog but wound up with a dead-end phone call and a depleted bank account and zero dog to show for it. Okay? So according to a 2017 BBB report on puppy scams, most victims lose from $100 to $1,000, but that number can reach into the thousands and in one case hit $5,000. Despite her disappointment, Grassy's story ends on a high note. She's now the proud owner of a rescue dog named Ollie and couldn't be happier. We started looking into adoption agencies, she said. I did get a puppy I'm so in love with. And that, for that, I salute her, and I'm glad it had a happy ending. I'm sorry she lost the money. It's a sad story. But again, we've heard of scams like this and crazier scams on the internet. I saw one of those TV shows about a woman who was scamming people by claiming that she was pregnant, wanted to find a good home for her baby, and they would arrange an adoption. And she was juggling, different people that were paying her money supposedly to help her get through the pregnancy so that she could let them adopt her baby. And of course, the woman's not even pregnant. But the point is that the internet has allowed people to scam you from afar. And nothing you see on the internet is necessarily true. Other than me. Okay, I'm real. But you have to understand how easy it is to pull photographs off the internet. And you can find pictures of puppies very, very easily. Oh, look, we've got a litter of puppies here. One thing that might be fun to do if you're looking at a website that's promising you puppies from Texas for under market value is when you see a photograph posted of a puppy, yank the photograph off by right-clicking on it and saving it to your hard drive, and then run it through a Google reverse image search and see where else it pops up. And how much you want to bet they found that photograph on another website, probably one in honor of that particular breed of puppy. I can tell you that I've mentioned before, Milo and Wolfie are the two dogs that get mentioned in the credits of every single video I've done for the last few years. And Milo and Wolfie were in my life for over 10 years each. And they were Shetland sheepdogs. And they came from different breeders. Wolfie came from a breeder in Michigan. Milo came from a breeder in Ohio. And in both cases, I actually met the breeder and actually met Milo or Wolfie as youngsters. I actually found the breeder of Wolfie at a dog show, went to a dog show and was walking around the section where they had Shetland sheepdogs and was talking to breeders. And one woman showed me a photograph and said, I have a bi-black puppy right now, which was Wolfie. And Milo was found on the internet. But what happened was, looking for Shetland sheepdog puppies, found a breeder who had a website that she breeds Shetland sheepdogs. She had a photograph of Milo, and she said, this is a puppy I have available. Called her, spoke to her on the phone, and then drove to Ohio. Never once put a check in the mail, never once sent a Google gift card or an Amazon Pay card or a Kinko's TikTok card, whatever the kids are doing these days, I don't know, okay? And when it comes to buying something of any sort, okay, I like to have the widget in my hand and go, oh, okay, that's a good widget. Here, have some cash, and hand the cash over. Or a check if you're old school. But the point simply is this, that you found a website on the internet offering dogs, puppies, below market value, and then suggesting that they can ship them by plane anywhere in the U.S. at no charge. It is both comically sad and laughable, because looking back on it, I'm sure even she says that makes no sense. Okay, but the scammers know this. They're working the puppy angle, they're giving you a deal angle, and they're giving you the whole, oh, this is, everything's going to work out just right for you, and so people want to believe. Remember the poster on Mulder's wall? I want to believe. There you go. And that's often at the heart of these. So again, be very, very careful. Like she said from the Better Business Bureau, as many as 80% of the advertisements on the internet promoting puppies are fake. They're scams. The puppy scam. Questions, comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. There's never enough time to do it right, but there's always enough time to do it over.